welcome to Life Talk for Friday, July 28th, 2017. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us, and it's Friday.
It's Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Merry Friday.
Merry Friday.
Right. We've got a lot of neat stuff to talk about today. One of the things that's really cool that we've been involved in for several years now is with our MAAFA 21 project, helping out Learn, the Life Education and Resource Network, which is the largest African-American pro-life organization in America. And they've been having a presence at the NAACP conventions every year. Mm-hmm. And Pastor Clenard Childress is the one, he's from Learn in New Jersey, and he's the one that's pretty much heading this thing up. And he joins us now from church in Montclair, New Jersey. Hello, Clenard. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Trying to catch some rest.
Yep.
But always a pleasure to talk to Life Dynamics and you.
You're trying to rest up from being at the NAACP convention. I know you just got back to New Jersey, and
Yeah.
I appreciate your joining us on short notice like this. How did things go there this time?
It's always a lesson that is to be learned not only by myself and my activists, but really the church. You can never go by media, and you can never go by those who are dawned to be African American, the voices for African Americans, because the constituency, the citizen, the person is hearing us, amazingly hearing us. I thought last year was very receptive. Well, it went beyond this year. I mean, this year it was more receptive. And as they normally do, they try to do everything for people not to talk to us from the inside. But even the police were quite cooperative. It's a new day. And the message is reaching. I met some people who had previously seen my offer and thanked me for being out there in front of the NAACP. These were delegates. Of course, we had those who had not heard, which is still amazing to me. But yet we were able to connect the dots, and it was just a great exchange of ideas. And I really the one that really touched me the most was a gang leader who came up to me to have a discussion, and it was quite relevating.
Well, Reverend Barber, he sounds like in this World Tribune article that we have that he was a little bit frustrated because he says that the Trump administration's preying on the black people.
Yes, yes. Of course, I also made that just prior to my coming there, so it gave me a lot of incentive. And we just call that out for what it is. It's not only is it hypocrisy, because he is a supporter of Planned Parenthood himself personally, and he is a supporter, therefore, of eugenics and the targeting of African American people, but it's delusional. And to think that a pastor who is the president of the North Carolina state chapter, I believe, is making such absurd statements. And what bothers me that no one on the inside of the organization and say, you need to step back from that. As a pastor, first of all, we're charged to pray for our leaders. We are commanded to pray for those in authority. Mm-hmm. And for him to continually try to demonize this administration, which is doing an outstanding job of getting their agenda across under the most contrary and
diabolical
anarchist attitudes.
Right.
From politicians, both Republican and Democrat. I've never seen anything like this. But the president really has a pro-African American community agenda. He's included the problems of the African American community. And so we're just not taking it no more. These guys will be called out by name. They will be challenged in print. And, of course, there's been no retraction from him, nor the new president, and I'll be writing him a letter shortly saying that he needs to really examine this pastor's comments, and he's speaking for the NAACP about demonizing pastors who pray for Donald Trump, but no one demonized the ones that pray, maybe except me, but demonized the ones that pray for Hillary Clinton. So we need to really just step up and trust me, I say to your listeners, the people going are not the people who are making the decisions on the NAACP. And we're close to getting in there, I believe.
Well, you've always said, and it seems like to me that every year that we've been doing this,
Yes.
that your reception gets better.
Yes.
The first year you went, you had a lot of hostility. They actually put buses out there to try to keep people from seeing you.
Hostility to no end.
Right. They were very aggressive and very hostile towards you. But it seems like every year that I talk to you about this, the things get better.
Yeah, I remember talking to Brother Johnny Hunter about this last year, and he said that he had a very good presence there at the convention. I'd like to bring something up in case the audience doesn't know. We did kind of a takeoff on MAFA 21. It's a report that we did called Racial Targeting, and the abortion mills are disproportionately located in the minority communities, the Black and Hispanic, and it even states this in this article, which is one of the reasons I'm bringing it up as well. Is 79% of the Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities are located within walking distance. So that's very eye-opening.
Right.
Very eye-opening.
Well, if anybody thinks the eugenics movement's dead or that that's something from the past, they're fooling themselves. They're either lying or they're fooling themselves.
Yeah.
Because the eugenics movement is alive and well, and it's being very well funded by the Warren Buffetts of the world, George Soros, Ted Turner, Bill and Melinda Gates. These people are pouring billions
Yes.
into the eugenics movement, and I think that what Clenard and Johnny Hunter and others that are going to these conventions are finding is that the rank and file African American community is very interested in this and very attuned to it. They don't have an agenda. Mm-hmm. They're not tied to Planned Parenthood. They're not getting money from Planned Parenthood. They're not in bed with Planned Parenthood. And they're willing to listen. And we know, I don't know if I've talked to you recently, Clenard. I know that we sent you a whole ton of MAAFAs the other day. We donate every year to you because we think this cause that you're doing is fantastic. And I think we sent you 1,800 MAAFAs the other day. I assume you got them all.
Absolutely, over 1,000, just over 1,000, or just under, in hand, delivered to persons who we felt would see that message.
You mean just this week at the NAACP convention?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And so we were, and as I stated prior, some people had it and had seen it and commended us for being out in front of the NAACP. So it was unquestionably what you have done has given us the weapons.
Well, the main thing we need to remember is, like you started off this segment saying, don't listen to what the media or the so-called leaders of this organization tell you. The rank and file people in the NAACP are being receptive to this message.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I mention names, but needless to say, I can say this: the Macon chapter once again put forth a resolution on this issue of Black genocide, a disproportionate amount of African Americans that are having abortions, and once again, it was rejected. Mainstream media won't talk about that, and certainly the joint board needs to continually be called out upon this. But I talked to two other chapter leaders there who are head of their chapters, and they told me that they are working on a way to do this purely on the health perspective, which I had suggested many years ago. Purely on the health perspective, we're going to get this in, we're going to do this because people are now ready for it. That is from, and guess where state it was? I will say the state, California.
Oh, wow.
So that's amazing.
So I was invited to the New York chapter to talk about it from the health perspective. He looked at me straight in the face and says, if you're in from the health perspective, you can come and talk at my chapter. That's never been offered except for the one lady I told you about last year, which I never got to call back or followed up on from the National Action Committee, but Al Sharpton's group. But that's a great. This is directly the NAACP, and I think the walls are crumbling.
I think they are too. And one of the things, and I know you have to run because you're on a time crunch there, but one of the things that I would remind you about that should give you and your people some encouragement is that if you compare this, say, to the United Methodist Church, the United Methodist Church for better than 30 years had a pro-abortion position. And I can tell you, I had friends that were in the United Methodist Church, and we had people on here that were either United Methodist or former United Methodist who had left because of the abortion policy. And there was kind of a almost fatalistic view that the United Methodist Church was unwinnable and that there was no hope for them. Well, what was it, less than a year ago, or just about a year ago,
Yeah, something like that.
they reversed their policy. Yep. The United Methodist Church reversed its policy. We had the ladies on here that had helped lead that effort.
Right.
And they had been fighting for years and years in what looked like a futile effort to get their church to change, but they did change.
Right.
And so...
Oh, that's outstanding. I didn't even know that, and I've made comment on their position being heretical. So that's great news. Yeah, I mean, when the good news breaks, we can't hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But the fact is, that should give you encouragement because the battle that you're fighting is no bigger than the battle that they fought, I can assure you.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So, Pastor Hunter can tell you we went to a church by accident that was United Methodist. I forgot how we wound up there. And the guy in the pulpit said, we don't agree with this life position, and he went on and on and on and then handed the mic over to another pastor that was there that was basically with us on the issue and had asked us to come into his church.
Wow.
But senior pastor shouted it down from the pulpit. And hopefully there will be a reverse of that now, that we, especially with the Johnson Amendment now basically saying it will not be enforced by this president or by this Department of Justice, we need from the pulpit for us to speak our views, our values without fear, because it's time. We're going to lose this nation if we don't.
Well, one of the things we've got to do is we've got to get the heretics out of the pulpits.
Yes.
And that's a major problem in the church.
Well, that was my problem with Reverend Barber. It goes beyond delusional. It's demonic.
Yes.
To make that comment, you're so concerned about the Obamacare or what's called Better Care, for what it's worth, whether or not it gets passed, saying that it was going to prey on African Americans when it is Obamacare that's attempting to prey on African Americans. And you have been silent on the blatant attack of the African American community by Planned Parenthood. You're silent on the 1,700 and so babies a day. I mean, please. I mean, we need to, call you out and make you answer, which he can't. But they're the ones praying. And so we have to speak out. I think that type of logic, that juxtapose our truth against their rhetoric, we're going to win, and we're going to win and soon. So
we are honored to be in the battle with you, and whatever we can do from here, that we will do. So we just keep fighting. We're going to win. There's no doubt about it. We've talked about it here for years, and we were promised the victory. The victory is going to come. So
I believe it wholeheartedly.
Well, thanks for joining us, Clenard, and anything else we can do to help you, just let us know, and I'm sure we'll have you back in a future show to update people on what's going on. But the fact is, the black community is coming into the pro-life movement in record numbers we've never even remotely seen in the past. And when we...
And they know it. The other side knows it, trust me, and they're definitely afraid.
Yes, and because what they know is what we know, and that is when the black community gets fully engaged in this battle, it's over. The battle is over. I am 100% convinced. I've always been convinced. I told you this before we ever produced my alpha, if you remember when you were here in Denton for a meeting. I told everyone in that meeting, when we get the black community actively engaged in this battle, the battle is over. And that's the reason we produced my Alpha 21 to begin with.
Amen. And it's been an awesome tool, and Life Dynamics certainly has made a tremendous contribution to the waking up of African Americans, and that wave is moving now. I don't think they can stop it, but they're doing everything possible. But they see this. They're in a panic right now, and we just need to keep pressing. We can't draw back.
Absolutely. There's no going back. We're way too far into this, and now we're winning. We don't give up. Well, thanks for joining us, Clenard.
Thanks, Reverend.
God bless.
You take care.
too.
Bye-bye, sir. Yeah, I mean, the progress that these guys are making. I mean, the first year that they went to the NAACP convention, you remember it was not a happy event.
Right.
They got
A lot of discouragement.
a lot of attack.
Being blocked. Yeah.
One of the things that was very interesting, and I should have brought it up because maybe this person was there again this year. The first year they went, one of the attorneys for the NAACP came out on the sidewalk and threatened them. And the NAACP had already gotten some buses from the city of Detroit and tried to block them from being seen. And Alveda King was there, and she said, you know, this is kind of weird that we fought for years and years just to be able to ride on buses.
And now they're blocking us.
And now they're
using them
buses.
against us. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they got the buses out because they didn't want that visual.
Right.
And we got video of them getting the buses out. And then the media stopped and went around behind the building and quit covering them. But anyway, an attorney came out on the sidewalk and tried to get them to leave, tried to threaten them and say he was going to sue them and he's going to call the police. And Clenard and them said, call the police.
Yeah, go for it.
This is a public sidewalk.
Right.
We have a right to be here. The next year, that same attorney came out and engaged them in a friendly conversation and just politely asked them if they would leave. And he said, no, we're staying. The year after that, that same attorney came back out and asked if he could watch my AFA. They gave him a copy of it. He went to his hotel room and watched it and came back out there and joined with them and talking about black genocide.
God was really working on his heart.
For 3 years.
It took a while, but
Right.
he got through. Amen to that.
And he was talking about the Macon, Georgia chapter of the NAACP. They've been hardcore on board with this since the first year. They didn't know anything about this. They watched my AFA. And the lady that runs the Macon, Georgia NAACP chapter is the one that's pushing the NAACP
Right.
to promote a pro-life message and to talk about black genocide. It's a matter of time before
it
this
breaks
thing crumbles.
loose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he said, the walls are falling.
Yep.
Anyway, we've got a lot of, we're running short on time. The time flies on this show.
We were going to get to some more articles.
Well, we are going to, as soon as we
Okay.
take a break for your little spot on the pen. So anyway, we'll take a break for that. And when we come back, we've got three other pieces of news we want to bring you that I think are real important.
Hi, have you seen this pen? It's really neat, and people all over America are using them to show their support for the pro-life cause. They're available from Life Dynamics for $5, but because you're a Life Talk viewer, I'm going to make you an offer you can't resist. If you don't already have one of these pens, go to lifedynamics.com/prolifepen. Then when you check out, use the promo code at the bottom of the screen and I'll send you one of these pens as my gift. I'll even pay the postage. If you prefer, you can also order by phone at area code 940-380-8800. Now you can't beat that price, right? So order yours today and make sure all of your pro-life friends get one for themselves. Again, go to lifedynamics.com/prolifepen and use the promo code below or call 940-380-8800.
Welcome back. Okay, real quickly, we got three little updates on stories, or one of them's not an update, one's a news story. First off, we've talked before about the situation in Illinois where the state passed legislation requiring pro-life doctors to promote abortion to their patients. An Illinois judge has now enjoined that and saying it's not constitutional. Now, I don't know whether they'll go further up the chain or not. You've got more on the story than I do, but do you have any idea whether they're talking about continuing to appeal this?
I'm with you. I'm here. This is the second time this law has been challenged in this article. The first time it was only protected a select group of pregnancy centers involved in the case. The second time, the federal court ruling takes a step further, protecting all healthcare professionals who want to exercise their right of conscience.
Right. So they're trying to take away the right of choice.
They are.
From these people.
Right.
And they're saying that crisis pregnancy centers and doctors must
Right.
promote abortion, make referrals for abortion.
Yeah, and it's definitely violating our constitutional rights. Definitely.
Another story, Planned Parenthood now has apparently changed some of their material, their website material. Now, this is, I don't know what you say to things like this. Planned Parenthood is telling children in their sex education and on their websites that your genitals don't make you a boy or a girl.
That's right. This really does get under my skin. It ticks me off. It's a parent's responsibility to talk to your children about sex, and not as preschoolers here.
Right.
You know, you do it whenever you feel like
They're talking
like you're
about
ready to do
toddlers,
it.
they're telling this to.
Well, and boys and girls have nipples, and to just say that it's a
Right.
biracial thing or whatever. We both
Bisexual.
bisexual. Thank you. We both have them, and they just encourage. What they're doing is they're getting this generation ready for the transgender
Right.
movement.
Right.
Because there are many children that are born now where the parents aren't telling them if they are a male or a female. They're going to let them decide what they want to be when they get older.
Now, if you want to
So wrong.
You want to see how preposterous this has gotten in Canada. They've now recently passed a law that says if someone claims that thinks they're female or male, whatever they think they are, no matter what their genitals tell them, whatever they think they are, if you refer to them by a different pronoun, in other words, it's a female, and you call her she, but she says she's a he, you can be criminally charged for using the wrong pronoun to call her. Now, you know, you think, well, this is Canada, that won't happen. Canadian people culturally aren't that much different than American people. Don't tell me this won't happen. I remember years ago when people were saying all kinds of things that were happening in Canada would never happen here, and now they're happening. You also have a situation right now in Canada where a couple went into a hospital to have a baby. They had a baby, and when the baby was born, the doctor said, "Congratulations, you have a son." They are now suing that doctor and that hospital for misassigning or inappropriately assigning gender to that child.
That's so sad.
You know,
Where is this country going? It is.
this world
it's
is spinning out of
spinning-
control.
Yes, terribly bad. It was one thing when they allowed gay marriage, but it's now another thing to mix in the transgender and not telling
Right.
this child who they are at birth. I mean, it's just.
And so you can be, I guess you could decide tomorrow that you're male, and I've got to start calling you he,
Yeah.
right? I guess that's what the deal is. And maybe next year you'll decide that you're female again, and you'll go back to being Renee, and I'll have to call you she or whatever.
Right.
But this thing is out of control. And let me point something out. You mentioned the issue of gay marriage. Not very many years ago, the homosexual community's argument was, we're not asking you to approve of our lifestyle. We're just asking you to be tolerant, right? We're not asking for approval. We're simply asking for tolerance. Don't beat us up. Don't exclude us from having a job. Don't do all those things. All right. They were lying through their teeth, because now what they're saying is tolerance isn't good enough. We want acceptance. We want to be seen as absolutely, we want you to see us as absolutely interchangeable
Right.
with heterosexual community.
Right, and they are fighting for the whole bathroom
Yeah.
thing. I mean, it's just
disgusting.
one thing after another, one thing after, and you know what? Trump may not ever let this happen as long as he's in office, but
Well, he took away the transgenders going into the military, the
Military,
other day,
yeah.
which that was outrageous to start with.
I can't believe, I don't even know the numbers here, but there are a lot of transgenders in the military right now as we speak.
Well, because they rushed in there as soon as Obama did this.
Yeah.
I've got a friend that has a son that's in the military, and he had a plan to stay there and retire. He's getting out after 9 years. He said it is getting so intolerable to be in the United States military. Now, you think about that. A young man goes into the military with the idea of standing there and retiring in the military, and he's getting out after 9 years because
That's bad.
the things that Obama put in place
Yeah.
have made being in the military totally unacceptable.
Right.
He can't live with it.
Yeah.
Finally, we're out of time completely. We're over time. We talked about this school in Pennsylvania where some pro-lifers are on the sidewalks,
Yes.
pro-life students.
Pro-life students, a brother and a sister. It happened on an incident happened on April 21st with the school's former dean of academics and student life, Zach Ruff, and he cussed them out, told them to that I don't give a F of what you think Jesus tells me. He's gay. He was trying to block these kids from
On a public sidewalk.
Trying to inform other students about abortion.
And he was just nasty and aggressive, and I can't believe some father hasn't accosted this guy or done something. But he was just trying to intimidate these students. And now the school district and him, I assume, have had to pay a fine, a settlement to these students. So the court there has ruled that they have to pay a settlement to them. So.
Yeah, well, and he's retired, or not retired. He was fired in May, so he's out of there.
Good.
Thank you.
Why would somebody like that ever have been hired as a student anyway?
Yeah, right.
They're not having a very good screening process if they got a scumbag like this in to begin with. So
Yeah, well,
anyway,
he showed his true colors, and
Yes, he
he's
did.
gone, so
he's gone.
good for that.
Anyway, that's kind of our update today on the news and
Yep.
NAACP and all the other things that are going on, and we will be looking to get all your comments back. People need to send you their comments if they have any questions or subjects you'd like to see us cover or whatever. Be sure and let Renee know because she's the one that watches over this. In the meantime, we're out of time for this show. We're way over time for this show, as a matter of fact. Anyway, we'll be back again on Monday. Until then, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you Monday.
Have a good weekend.